Right. Welcome in, folks. Appreciate you guys joining Mount Polumbus Speaks here. Happy Sunday to you. Hope you guys have had a fantastic weekend. We got beautiful weather out there today, although it's been, God, when is this rain going to end? I am ready for summer to full on be here. I got the bro tanks out, been working out. Biceps are getting bigger. I'm getting ready. I'm getting prepped for the summer and enjoying it. I went to go see a movie this weekend by myself. When was the last time you guys went to a movie by yourself? I'm going to say going to a movie by yourself is next level leisure. That's what that is. Next level leisure, going to a movie by yourself. I went to go see Ballerina, which was good. John Wick has got to be by far the greatest over-the-top action series of all time. Yet is somehow not cheesy. Ana de Armas, Eve. I'm going to tell you right now, John Wick's got nothing on Eve. John Wick never took on an entire mountain town by himself, but Eve did. Eve did that. And I might be an Ana de Armas stan. My stupid partners on PhD, they're not into Ana de Armas. I don't know what's wrong with them. Anybody's got a connection to Ana de Armas, let me know. Shout out. Okay, what's going on here today? Before we get started, as always, need to thank my sponsors, Safeway. Could not do this podcast without Safeway. I've been working with Safeway for a long time, and shout out to you guys who listen to the podcast that Safeway will sponsor it. Safeway's been my favorite local grocer, serving Colorado families since 1926. Guys, from fresh produce to tender cuts of meat, Safeway offers local fruits and vegetables from Colorado farms and serves Colorado proud Angus beef. Safeway proudly supports Colorado farms and local small businesses, from Olaf corn and Rocky Ford melons to Palisade peaches. So you're supporting local. You are supporting local. Easy for me to say when you shop at Safeway. Learn more at Safeway.com or shop in the Safeway store today. Okay. So OTAs have technically wrapped up for the Denver Broncos, and the Broncos have got 3 practices left. They got 3 minicamp practices this week. I'll be out there for all 3 practices, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we'll be giving you guys reports on those afterwards here on Mount Polumbus Speaks, so make sure you tune in. And what have we learned from the OTAs? Well, media has only been allowed to be out there for 2 of them, to be clear. So Sean Payton's run a pretty tight ship. He does not allow media out there for any more than what he has to. He does the bare minimum, which is fine. If I was an NFL coach, I would do the exact same thing. I would close the doors as much as I possibly could, and that's what Sean Payton has chosen to do. One topic that got brought up last week at Sean Payton's presser was the fact that the Denver Broncos have got the most roster retention in the NFL, meaning after last season, they've turned over the fewest bodies in the NFL. I don't know what the average is, but if I had to guess just off the top of my head, I would guess that any given team brings back about 70% of the roster. The roster turnover in the NFL is nuts. It's unlike any other league. It's unlike any other sport. You turn over that roster faster year in and year out, and especially in the early couple years of a new regime, you're going to turn over that roster like crazy. Well, Sean Payton's now in year 3 as the Denver Broncos head coach, and apparently he likes the roster that he's got. So it's revealing, man. I think that should tell us a number of things. Number one, I think it should tell us Sean Payton feels good about this roster. I think it should tell us that Sean Payton feels like he's got a playoff caliber football team right now. And when you look across the practice field and you're looking for all the typical battles that are going on, it's easy to see why there's not very much roster turnover going on right now. There's just very, very few battles on this football team. If you take a look at the Denver Broncos depth chart, and give me 1 second here as I pull it up, you're going to see that there's just not a lot of competition. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, I guess it's a good thing. It should be a great thing. That should mean that your coach is telling you that he loves his roster. But I would say on any given year, you've probably got at least 3 to 4 starting positions that are open for a battle at least whether it's fake, whether it's real, you're going to have 3 or 4 positions that the coaches are going to tell you that the starting position is up for grabs. Well, if we go through this roster, man, you guys tell me, how many true positional battles do you actually see that are going on this football team? And let's start on the defense, because the defense is obviously supposed to be the strong suit of this team. They were already a great defense last year. They fell off in the month of December when Riley Moss got hurt. But with the additions that they've made this year, with Dre Greenlaw at inside linebacker, with Talanoa Hufanga at safety, and then with drafting Jahdae Barron at the, well, for now I guess we call it the nickel spot, although I think he will be your starting outside corner. Wow. What battles are there? Okay, so defensive line. Do we have any positional battles going on the defensive line? Zach Allen? Nope. That dude is top 3 interior defensive lineman in the NFL, at least in a 3-4 scheme. DJ Jones, your nose tackle. DJ Jones was just brought back on a relatively big deal. He hit free agency. The Broncos said, no, we still like you. We want to bring you back. Okay, that spot is not up for grabs. Jonathan Franklin Meyers. JFM has not been at OTAs. JFM does want a new contract, but he says that that's not why he's been at OTAs. His agent said that he just doesn't do OTAs anymore. He's a veteran, and he'll be there for the veteran minicamp, which is going to be this week. Jonathan Franklin Meyers was a huge addition to this football team. That the Broncos were very lucky that the Jets made a very foolish decision last year when they traded for Hassan Reddick. The Jets end up giving up Jonathan Franklin Meyers on the cheap to the Broncos because they didn't think they could afford both those guys. Well, they didn't even keep Hassan Reddick, and they lost Jonathan Franklin Meyers. So your 3 interior defensive linemen in the 3-4 scheme, that's Zach Allen, that's DJ Jones, that's Jonathan Franklin Meyers, all studs. I mean, absolute studs. On the outside, you're looking at Nik Bonnitto. You're looking at Jonathan Cooper, studs. Young studs. Jonathan Cooper's already been paid. Nik Bonnitto wants to be paid. Will he get a new contract before the season? I've got some thoughts on that a little bit later in the show, so stay tuned. You've got 3-4 guys that want a new contract right now, and Courtland Sutton, Jonathan Franklin Meyers, Zach Allen, and Nik Bonnitto. I'm going to give you my priority list of which of those guys I think the Broncos should focus on. But anyways, you got Nik Bonnitto, you got Jonathan Cooper, both studs, and you've got some good players behind them in Jonah Ellis and DeAndre Tillman. Could probably get a little bit more depth. You did draft Q Robinson as well out of Alabama, who's going to be in that outside linebacker mix. But none of those guys are going to be pushing Nik Bonnitto or Jonathan Cooper for the starting spots. The rest of those guys are going to be battling just for rotation. And in that positional group, as long as you're in the rotation, you are going to play a lot of football. Okay, let's jump to the secondary. Obviously, we got Pat Surtain, the best corner in the game. You've got Riley Moss. You've got Jahdae Barron. Technically speaking, I do think that is one positional battle that's going on this football team between Riley Moss and Jahdae Barron. People will tell you that Jahdae Barron is at his best playing the nickel position in the NFL, and nickel is more or less your starting defense because base is just played less and less in the NFL. But your starting corners are out there in base and nickel. So I think Jahdae Barron's going to be competing with Riley Moss for that outside corner position. And when it's all said and done, I think that he'll probably win that position simply just based off the fact of how high they drafted Jahdae Barron. So, okay, maybe I'll give you one positional battle so far that we've got on defense. That's Jahdae Barron and Riley Moss. But it's really not even that big of a positional battle because you're going to have 3 corners on the field all the time when you're out there in nickel. Inside linebacker. Well, you brought in Dre Greenlaw, absolute stud. He's going to be a dude that the Broncos haven't had a guy like him playing the inside linebacker position in a long, long time. Alex Singleton is going to be coming off injury, although they say that he should be healthy and ready to rock and roll for training camp. And those two positions are done. I do think that Alex Singleton, you could get better at that position. I don't think you've got anybody on the team that's truly going to push him. They keep talking a lot about Drew Sanders. Drew Sanders has bounced around from positions. He's played outside linebacker. He's played inside linebacker. He hasn't quite found a home yet here for the Denver Broncos, but I do know that the coaching staff still talks up Drew Sanders quite a bit. So we'll see if he's going to make it into that rotation. I think that Justin Strnad did a very nice job filling in last year when he got thrust into that starting lineup when Alex Singleton got hurt. But you do not have a competition going on. Alex Singleton and Dre Greenlaw are your two starting inside linebackers. At the safety positions, Talanoa Hufanga, definitely your starter. Brandon Jones, definitely your starter. So on defense, I came up with one battle, kind of, between Jahdae Barron and Riley Moss for the outside corner position. And it's really hardly even a battle at all because you're going to have three corners on the field so much that it just doesn't really matter. So why do the Broncos have the most roster retention in the NFL? Well, starting on defense, because we've got maybe one positional battle on the entire football field. Let's flip over to the offensive side of the ball. Let's see how many positional battles we can come up with there. Okay, Bo Nix, he's your starting QB. Jarrett Stidham, sorry, you're the backup. Running back's going to be interesting. So RJ Harvey, as of today, is your starting running back. The Broncos did have J.K. Dobbins in the building last week. He left without a new deal from the Broncos. J.K. Dobbins was tendered by the Chargers, so the Broncos would have to pay him over $1.4 million if they want to bring him in. And I think the Broncos should bring in J.K. Dobbins because running back is arguably the weakest positional group on this football team right now. And there's just a lot riding on RJ Harvey. I know these coaches really like RJ. I know they've hyped him up a lot. But for a rookie, I feel like there's a lot weighing on RJ Harvey's shoulders right now. You bring in J.K. Dobbins, a dude that had over 900 yards last season, and now you've got a built-in day one starter, and you don't have to rely on your young rookies so much in third down situations. So that could be a position that you might have a battle going on. And I'm technically speaking going to give that position an open battle, even though RJ Harvey is definitely your starter as of now. Excuse me, I think somebody's at my door. Let me get right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had some kids at the door that were trying to sell me some used rugs. I respect the hustle. I did not buy any, but I do respect the hustle. All right, so where did I leave it? I think I left it with RJ Harvey. I do want the Broncos to sign J.K. Dobbins. He left town. We'll see if the Broncos bring back J.K. Dobbins or not, but I really hope that they do. I like J.K. Dobbins, and I think running back is the weakest positional group on the football team. Okay, wide receiver. Here's how it's shaken loose at OTAs so far. Courtland Sutton, Marvin Mims, and Devon Vele are firmly entrenched as your starting wide receivers. Devon Vele has looked tremendous. Devon Vele is a dude that we all liked last year. You know, he had 475 yards on the season. He's 6'5", 210 pounds. I'm telling you, he looks like a Courtland Sutton clone out there. Maybe actually a Tim Patrick clone would be a better description of him. But I expect a lot out of Devon Vele this year. We did draft Pat Bryant, and I would expect the Broncos to try to utilize Pat Bryant quite a bit this year. You have Troy Franklin from last year, who Troy had a disappointing season, only 263 yards off 28 receptions. Troy's got speed, though. Troy and Marvin Mims are your two speed guys. Pat Bryant is not a speed guy. He's another big-bodied dude. He's only listed at 6'2", but he looks bigger than that, and he plays bigger than that. Not a real speedster, though. Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin are going to be your speed. Your starting wide receivers are Courtland Sutton, Marvin Mims, Devon Vele, and then Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant will work into that mix wherever the Broncos see fit. But again, I do not see a real positional battle going on in the wide receiver room. Tight end, Evan Ingram, firmly entrenched as your starting tight end. Adam Troutman, Lucas Kroll, Nate Atkins, they'll all be duking it out to number one, make the roster, and number two, be base package type of tight ends that can be in there in the running game. No real positional battle going on. Your fullback's Michael Burton. Your offensive line does not have a single battle going on. You've got Garrett Bowles, you got Ben Powers, you got Luke Wattenberg, you got Quinn Miners, you got Mike McGlinchey. Everybody except for Luke Wattenberg is making big-time money. And that offensive line is a good group. So how many battles did I come up with on this entire football team? Well, I think you've got a battle at running back. I think you've got a potential battle at inside linebacker with Alex Singleton. And, gosh, what else did I come up with? Did I come up with any other? Oh, Riley Moss and Janae Barron. You've got 2 or 3 positional battles on this entire football team. That's it. That's all you're looking at. So that is why the Denver Broncos got the most roster retention in the NFL. Now, do you think that that's a roster that's capable of winning a Super Bowl? Probably not. But with that few positional battles going on, Sean Payton's telling you that this is a playoff football team. And that's what our expectations should be as a fan base. Denver Broncos need to be a playoff football team, and it would be nice if they could win a playoff game this year and not get smoked by the Buffalo Bills. All right, the only other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about today before I get out of here, you've got 4 guys on this team that are all looking for a contract right now. Nik Bonnitto's looking for a contract. Courtland Sutton's looking for a contract. Zach Allen's looking for a contract. Jonathan Franklin Meyers is looking for a contract. Jeff Legwold had some news this week on Nik Bonnitto on what a new contract for Bonnitto could potentially look like. And Bonnitto's going to be looking for at least $24.5 million per year. That's according to Jeff Legwold, and I think that makes sense. I actually think that Nik Bonnitto should be pretty low on your priority list, and it's not because I don't think Nik Bonnitto's a hell of a football player. He is. We all know that Nik Bonnitto produced at a very high level last year, and we are hoping he does that again. He got 13.5 sacks last season. The only thing with Nik, though, he's a younger player. He's really a one-hit wonder right now. He had 8 sacks in 2023. And before I want to pay Nik Bonnitto $24.5 million per year, I would love to see him prove it for another half season or so. Part of the reason why I say that is because it's unlikely that you're going to be able to give all these guys new contracts, so you got to prioritize things. Zach Allen would be my number one priority. Zach Allen's new contract deal, man, let me see if I can see a prediction anywhere. Hold on one second. According to the old Google machine, Zach Allen's probably looking at $24 to $25 million per year, which is a whole lot of money for an interior defensive lineman, but he's an interior defensive lineman in a 3-4 scheme that can get after the QB. And at one point in the season, and it was late in the season last year, like week 14, week 15, Zach Allen was leading all interior defensive linemen. No, not just interior. He was leading all defensive linemen in QB sacks and pressures. That's playing a 4-eye position in a 3-4 scheme that traditionally does not get after the passer. Zach Allen is worth the money. Zach Allen should be the first priority on this football team, and then Courtland Sutton should be your second priority. Courtland Sutton's new contract, how much is he going to be looking for? That's a little bit more difficult because, look, the wide receivers right now, there's probably 10 guys in the NFL that are making over $30 million per year. You've got one guy that's making $40 million per year. And I would argue that Courtland Sutton's contract, he's going to want anywhere between 23 and 25. I think that that's a bargain. That's actually a bargain in comparison to what other wide receivers are getting in the NFL. I think it's a relatively easy deal to get done. He deserves it. He's a whoopee for Bo Nix. You don't want to disrupt that progress that Bo Nix has got going into year 2. Last offseason, Courtland Sutton was sitting out in the offseason because he was trying to get a new contract. He didn't participate in OTAs. This year, he is participating. And according to sources, the Broncos and Courtland are having good faith negotiations that are going on right now. I think that Courtland Sutton and Zach Allen are the two guys that you try to get done before the season begins. Nik Bonnitto is going to be such big money that you probably want to prolong that thing a little bit and make him earn it, make him prove it. And, God forbid you get in a situation where Nik Bonnitto says, hey, I proved it. Now I'm not giving you a hometown discount. Well, you do always have the ability to throw the franchise tag on Nik Bonnitto if you have to do that. So that's not ideal, but that's an option that you've got down the road. Jonathan Franklin Meyers is your other guy that wants a new contract right now. And, you can't pay them all. I love Jonathan Franklin Meyers. He's a stud, but I'd have him at the bottom of my priority list. And, if it gets to a point where the numbers make sense and it's not too big of a challenge, cool, get it done. But I would have other priorities on this football team. So my priorities with the new contracts, Zach Allen, 1, Courtland Sutton, number 2, Nik Bonnitto, number 3, and Jonathan Franklin Meyers, number 4. J.K. Dobbins was just in on a visit last week. Broncos did not get him done. I hope the Broncos sign J.K. Dobbins, and I hope we hear news of that even before minicamp, which begins this week. Okay, appreciate you guys hanging out with me here on Mount Polumbus Speaks. I will give you guys reports after all of the Broncos minicamp practices this week. I should be out there for all of them. And if you guys have not subscribed to Mount Polumbus Speaks on YouTube, hit that link in my bio on Twitter right now. Go on over to YouTube and hit subscribe. That's where all my content lives. Make sure you don't miss out on any of my content that lives unique on that platform. And if you just appreciate what I do, know that I would appreciate you supporting me by going over there and hitting subscribe. Really trying to grow my YouTube audience. Okay, love you guys.